Hello, Belmont artists. Today, I am so excited that we have a lesson to do that I think every one of us can do at home. We just need as few amount of supplies as possible. We can use even more, and you'll see as we go. So what we're going to do today is we're going to be talking about something that some other classes talked about last year, which was symmetry. If something has symmetry, it's on the same thing on one side as it is on the other. Now, some things are very obviously symmetrical, like a circle. A circle will have the same one half as it does the other half. Now, today we're talking about bilateral symmetry. I'm going to try to put that somewhere on the screen. Bilateral symmetry. Now, that's a big word, but what bilateral symmetry means is you can divide an object with one line, and even though it doesn't look symmetrical, it'll end up looking symmetrical once you divide it with a line. So we're going to challenge ourselves today. Well, you'll see in just a minute. So we're going to draw something from half of something else. So the first thing we need is we need to go get something from outside. We need a leaf. It could be a leaf off a tree, a bush, a shrub, a tree on the ground, a tree that's already fallen. A tree? Did I say a tree? A leaf on the ground that's already fallen, or it could be a leaf that's still hanging on the branches, but we need to get a leaf. Just make sure, like I'm about to remind you again, to ask permission. Don't just go outside if you're not supposed to. Maybe somebody can go get you a leaf. But why don't you come with me and we'll go get a leaf, and we'll be right back. So let's go outside and see what we can find. It's been raining out here. Make sure you ask permission before you go outside. I don't want you going outside and say, Mr. Fender told me to. Always ask. Now be careful, because some leaves are very prickly, like these holly leaves. Now I'm going to be careful, but I might take a couple of these. Over here, we have some trees. But look, if these leaves are too high for you to reach, just look on the ground. There's always some on the ground. I'll take this. Maybe I'll check out this tree. I can grab them from up here. Or even get one down here. That'll do. Let's go back inside. All right, here are the leaves that we just got. Look at these leaves. Oh, that one's got a little bug on it. Hello, little bug. I think it's a spider. Anyway, so here are the leaves. Here's that dead one off the ground. These are the holly leaves. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick my favorite leaf, and you're going to follow along if you have a leaf as well. Now, if you want to do this on a different day, one step might make this easier. If you have a book and you pick your favorite leaf, and see how this leaf is kind of curled up on this side, you take a book, this is the same book I use for my straight edge, and you put it inside the book, and you very carefully close it so it has no wrinkles on it. And you put that good and flat, and maybe put something heavy on top of it. I could put something heavy on top of it and leave that for a day or two. When you open it back up, that leaf should be real flat. I'm going to leave this one in here, and I'm just going to see what it does later. But for right now, I'm going to pick my flattest leaf, because I need to do this right now. And I kind of like this one better. Look at that. It's got a red stem. It's kind of light green. Look at all these veins. This is where the leaf actually pulls in the water for growth. Oh, this is so neat. I like these little ones, and they'd be fun to draw, but they wouldn't be a very good example for you. So I'm going to take all these leaves. I'm going to put them right out of the way. And I'm going to take this one. Now the first supply, I wonder where that little spider went. Oh well. The first supply we're going to need is one piece of paper. Now when I have this one piece of paper, I'm going to put the leaf right on top of it. And remember that word I said, bilateral symmetry. Now, to find that symmetry, we're going to have to imagine a line through the middle of it, because look, if I look at this side of the leaf, it looks very much the same as this side of the leaf. It's not perfect, but it's very close. So, I need scissors. So here's my pair of scissors. If you're using scissors at home, be careful. Remember all the rules I've taught you about using scissors. We never run with them. If you have to go somewhere, put them down. If you actually have to carry them somewhere, carry them like this by your side so that you can drop them if you fall or if you run into somebody. So be very careful with your scissors. Now I'm actually going to cut a leaf. I don't know if I've ever cut a leaf before. So let's see. I'm going to find this line that goes right down the middle, and I'm going to cut right along that line. There we go. And now I have half a leaf and the stem. I left the stem. I couldn't cut that down the middle. I'm just going to take this piece and put it off to the side. But this piece of leaf, I want to keep it on my paper. Now I'm going to try to tape mine down. If you don't have tape, you can just be very careful to leave it in the same spot. And if you want to leave it on the same spot, what you could actually do is you could draw a little outline around the edges. And this is the important reason why. Because if you're working and all of a sudden you sneeze, well, that piece moved, but that didn't, but it blew it out of the way. Oh no, where did it go? Put it right back to where it's supposed to be. But since I'm going to be taping mine down, and I haven't tried to see if you could actually tape it down well. I know tape's not going to stick to that leaf very good, but I don't know if glue would work, or glue stick. I guess that's something you can try. I'm just going to take a little piece of tape, and I'm going to roll the tape into a little circle, and I'm going to try to tape it from the back, if my tape will cooperate. Put a little piece of tape on the back of my leaf and tape it to my paper. I think that's actually going to stick. Good. Now I guess you know what we're going to do now. Now we're going to get a pencil. We're going to get an eraser in case we make mistakes. Come on, eraser. I should have planned ahead. Here's my eraser, my pencil. And I'm going to try to draw the other side of the leaf. Now I actually have the other side of the leaf, so I can look at it for an example. So I can look at it, and if you really wanted to, you could actually trace it all the way around and then color it in. I'm going to try to do it without looking. Ugh. Or not without looking, but without tracing. So you can do it any way you want to, because I admit this is a kind of hard thing to do. So I'm going to look at the bottom side of this leaf, and if I look real close, it almost looks fuzzy. It goes down and back in, down and back in, almost like a zigzag line. So I'm going to come down this way. I'm going to do those little zigzag marks, and then it keeps on zigzagging up this way, and then it goes in. See, just like on this side. And then it comes around, it goes up. There's some different bumps. It's not as smooth as you might think it would be. When leaves are little and they first bloom out, they actually have very, very smooth edges, kind of like these little holly leaves, very smooth edges. But then as they get older, the edges get rough from the wind blowing and things like that. Alright, then I'm going to come back down. I'm going to try to come down as far as this one does. Oh, and then it goes back up. Then back down. Then I'm going to come up, and I think that's pretty good. Now I'm going to look. These veins that run that I told you bring the water up to the leaf or bring the water back to the trunk. I'm really not sure. I'm not the science teacher. I'm going to start down here, and this vein goes all the way out to this point. So I'm going to draw a line to that point. Then this vein goes all the way up to that point, so I'm going to go all the way up to there. Then I have another vein that comes right into the middle here. And before it gets to the middle, it splits. It comes up like this. Then this vein goes all the way to the point. This vein goes up and splits. There we go. Now each one of these veins has little veins coming off of it. So now I have the original half of the leaf and the other half. Now, if you want to, what you could do now, if you only have a pencil to work with, and that's okay, what you could do is you could try to shade the edges. Anytime you shade the edges, you use just the edge of the pencil like that. Just use it so you can make soft edges. You don't want to push down real hard. Shade it down around these veins down the middle. And there you have one half of a leaf. Now, I admit this seems kind of simple, but it's really not that easy because that doesn't look exactly like that. I think it's close, but that's okay. But if you have anything to color with, like colored pencils, and I happen to have colored pencils here, you know I always have colored pencils. This is a real hard part. We're going to try to match the colors. So I'm going to look, well obviously we've got green, and then this green's a little bit lighter, so I'm going to try this green, and it almost looks yellow in the middle, so I'm going to go with some yellow. And then the stem is red, and you can kind of see the red up these veins. So these are the colors I'm going with. It's really neat to me that this leaf has both warm and cool colors in it. So I'm going to start off by taking my red, and I'm just going to draw a line right up the middle of each one of these veins. It's not very strong. There we go. Now for the edges, it almost looks like it has red around these broken edges too. So I'm going to outline my leaf over where I just drew with the pencil. Also with the red. Then I'm going to come with yellow, and it looks like there's yellow right over top of that red in the middle. So I'm going to do the yellow right on top of the red that I just did. And that yellow blends in between the red and the green really well. So I'm going to also come around these edges with the yellow on top of everywhere where I did the red. I'm going to do the yellow. Now your leaf is probably not going to be just like mine. If it is, you're lucky because it's a perfect example. But if not, that's okay. Now I forgot something. This, I need to make sure that I draw right up the middle where that vein was, where the stem joins in. Now, last thing I need to do is try to fill in the green. I'm going to start real soft with the green. Now my green is not exactly like the green on the leaf. So I'm going to just try my best. Start off with the green like this. There's some people talking out in the hall. Hope you don't hear them too loud. It was Mr. Moody. All right, now I'm going to go with the darker green around the edges. Right where I shaded to begin with. I don't know, that looks okay. Now this, my green, doesn't look as yellow as this green, so I'm about to go back to my yellow. And I'm going to shade it real lightly over top, and I'm going to try to match. Matching colors is really hard, especially when you're only working with a few colors. But you can do this with colored pencils, with crayons, with markers, anything. There you go. I have drawn a line to divide a shape to show bilateral symmetry. It shows that when you divide it, it's going to be the same on one side as it is on the other, or very close. So go out, find you a leaf, cut it in half, either stick it to your paper or just hold it in one place and see if you can draw the other half. Now the thing is, leaves are free, so you can find as many leaves as you want. You can try this over and over, or you can just find the leaf that you love the best. Hopefully you have paper, pencils, and other things that you can do this with me. And if you do this project with me, I would love to see the results. So make sure you save it for me, show it to me in one of our Google Meets, something like that. I'm really excited about this. Remember, bilateral symmetry, and the fact that art is in nature all around us. Guys, can't wait to see you next time. Bye-bye.